I'm Eileen Abbott for Boomer Magazine. Thank you for joining us. Today we have a very wonderful guest, Pattie Jacocks. She's very inspirational as a runner and a two-time breast cancer survivor, and today she's going to talk to us about finding true love. Pattie, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Well, we're delighted to have you. You know, a lot of people who are boomers are in a point of their lives where they're either maybe divorced or widowed, and they're wondering, how do I find true love for the second half of my life? And I love your story because you give us all hope, and it's a very happy ending. And you found it the modern way through the internet. So can you tell us about that?
I did. Eileen, it was just one of those crazy coincidences. And Frank and I had both been married for a very long time and had divorced. He wanted to remarry. I did not. Isn't that how it often goes? And just on a whim one day, I went on a website that I don't even know exists anymore, but it was geared toward boomers, basically people over 40. And they had a personal section where people could put ads up for seeking friends or more if they wanted. And I checked there and I saw this little paragraph that Frank had written, and I thought, that gentleman just needs somebody. And so I responded to the ad. He wrote me right back a very cute reply, and I thought, he's lonely, and this is somebody I could be friends with. And we started an online email correspondence and got to know each other a little better. He started saying, let's meet, and I said, no, we're having such a good time, I don't want to meet and spoil anything. And then 9/11 happened, and that kind of changed everything because we both had children who are, or were at the time of the age where if we had a war, a draft, whatever, we were concerned about our kids and about what was happening, the danger, the threat. And as I think happened with a lot of people who had recently met and maybe were looking for a little more from a relationship, it brought people closer faster than it might otherwise have done.
And Pattie, what was it about Frank that attracted you to him? Was it something in his personality, something that he said? What were you looking for?
His kindness.
That's important.
That came through immediately, that this was a very kind and gentle man who obviously had a great deal of love that he wanted to give. At the time, I didn't want to take it, but he was so gentle and persistent and supportive of me and everything that I was going through with my divorce that eventually I couldn't resist it. Anybody who is that kind and gentle and loyal is a very special man.
I love your story because it's true love, and it's a love that goes beyond the superficial and the initial spark. It's love that's genuine, and in fact, Frank had you all married, and it's about to be your 10-year, I believe, anniversary, and Frank has stood by you through breast cancer, and that's real love.
He's been a rock, absolutely a rock for me. And I tell him sometimes I feel kind of guilty because he only had 3 years of me being totally healthy. And since then, he's had a cancer patient for a wife, and I feel bad about that. And he just poo-poos it and says, I married you for better, for worse, in sickness and in health. And this is what we're going to do together, and we're going to get you well. And that's what we've done, hopefully, knock on wood.
I love your story because life definitely has, the happy moments and the challenges, and real love sticks through all of the journey. Can you kind of share with us some of the things that he did for you during the cancer treatments? And you were amazing because I know you as a runner and as a friend, and you've had so much fortitude and spunk throughout all the breast cancer treatment. You're really quite inspirational. Can you tell what it was like, the journey with you and Frank during the treatments?
I think for many cancer patients going through the difficult treatment, the treatment the first time was not bad. I did not have chemotherapy. I did the second time. Chemotherapy is hell. It just is. And I think what any cancer patient wants, whatever treatment they're going through, is someone who will listen, who will hug you when you need it, who will not say things like, "That's okay, we'll get through this, it'll be fine, you're tough, you can do this, blah, blah, blah." I don't want to hear that. I didn't want to hear that. I just wanted him to say, "Cry if you need to, or just let me hold you." And that's what he did.
I love that. That's beautiful. It's real love. And so, Pattie, I know a lot of people watching this, they may be widowed, they may be divorced. They're looking for someone who's like the story you have, the real, genuine love. And what advice can you give them? How do they go about finding this?
A lot of times, I think, and I've heard this from other friends, it's when you stop looking that it happens. If you are looking, there are certainly a lot of resources there online. It always pays to be extremely careful if you're meeting someone that way. But a lot of times, I think, and with Frank, and that getting to know each other online, I trusted my instincts, and my instincts told me that this was a special man who was exactly as he was presenting himself online. This was not a false identity in any way, and just to be open-minded about things. And even if you had maybe a marriage that was not what you wanted it to be, don't be like I was. Don't close your mind and say, "I'm never going to do this again," because you might just meet somebody out there who the first thing you're going to think is, "Why didn't I meet him 30 years ago?"
I love your story, and you're very deserving of all this wonderful happiness.
Thank you so much.
And you raise a good point, because I think if you use the internet, what about the safety concerns? Maybe people,
Exactly.
especially widows, you may be lonely and you don't know who that person is on the other end, and the fact that they're giving you some attention can be very appealing, but maybe you're risking your safety.
That's exactly right. And I realized that I was maybe not as careful as I might have been, that I was perhaps a little more trusting than I should have been. For me, it certainly worked out. But yes, I would absolutely advise anybody who was going this route, take plenty of time, ask a lot of questions. Ask questions about family, kids, what your interests are, what jobs you've worked. I mean, anybody who wants a relationship, who is genuine, wants to give you that information, wants to share.
And maybe meet in a public place initially.
In a public place, absolutely.
And so I'm just curious, you did find love on the internet, which I think is really cool, and I love your story. But did you try any other ways, maybe through running, church, family, friends, matchmaker, or just hope for that chance meeting that would be the love of your life? I mean, did you try any other methods before this?
I did not.
Really?
I did not, because I wasn't interested. I didn't want another relationship, which was me being stubborn and doing what I'm telling you other women should not do, is be closed-minded. I was closed-minded. I just did not want another relationship.
But you wanted something, or you wouldn't have gone on there, right?
I wanted some friends and people that shared common interests. I thought if I met somebody that didn't live too close, we could get together maybe once or twice a month for dinner and a movie. That's the kind of thing I was looking for. A social thing. Not a relationship.
Pattie, what do you think most women, as I know I'm 50 now, and I'm a different person than when I was 20. You get a lot of wisdom and character just from life's experience. And what do you think people at this age who are looking for a second someone in the second half of their lives, what are they looking for that might be different than when they were younger? Is it more about the heart, or what is it that's different, do you think, at this age in life?
I think at this point, we're beyond where we're looking for excitement, like you often are in a first relationship. It's exciting because of the strong feelings you have for each other, the attraction, the I can't get enough of you, I have to be with you all the time kind of feeling. And I think we've all grown beyond that now over the years, and what matters the most is the caring, the love, and the loyalty.
Absolutely. The real love is definitely at the end of the day and at the end of life. That's what really matters, the kindness and the love.
It is.
And so can you give some hope to some of the people who may be watching, men or women, who might think, I don't think I'm ever going to find someone. What advice can you give them?
Don't give up. Don't give up. There are plenty more internet sites now than I think there were 10 years ago. And there are some, I think, for instance, I see advertised on TV all the time, a site called Christian Mingle. If that is your thing, that could be a very good place to meet somebody who shares your interests and your faith, if that is something that's important to you. Actually, a very good friend of mine who lost his wife 2 years ago got on the internet. I don't know what site he used, but he met somebody, and they are now engaged to be married at Christmas. So I'm not the only success story out there.
I think this is so amazing that people of the boomer age are using the modern way to find their new partners.
Exactly, we are. Where it used to be what you heard was go to church, join a club, a group that shares a common interest, sewing, quilting, knitting, running, any of those things. Now it's check this website or check that website or check the other website. And the greatest thing about that is you have the opportunity to meet people that you never would have crossed paths with otherwise.
I love that story of yours, especially, going through the cancer treatment and some of the hardest of times. And you all have stuck together, and that really is love. It's genuine love. It's a beautiful story.
We may be stronger now, even. We may very well be stronger now just because of those experiences with cancer that we both went through. And for Frank as a caregiver, it was very rough. It was very rough. And to see me as ill as I was terrible for him. It was just terrible. And we have managed to heal together and to keep that closeness, to keep that communication. Because now that we're not so in desperate straits with me ill and him trying to take care of me, now is the time where it would be easy to kind of relax and get back into normal routines and maybe not work as hard as we should at keeping that communication as close as it needs to be. And hopefully we have escaped that, because we work at it so hard because we love each other so much. And he's just, I could not have done this without him. I just could not. I could not have made it through cancer twice. I couldn't.
Well, you're a wonderful person, and you're very deserving of this love. And, we wish you and Frank the best always. You're quite inspirational in your story about love and all you have been through on how to live life. Thank you very much, Pattie, for joining us.
Thank you, Eileen.
And thank you, everyone, for watching today, and wishing all of you all the wonderful for your future.
And happy running.